Harold Baines and Lee Smith elected to the Hall of Fame. Las Vegas, the Today's Game Committee of the Baseball Hall of Fame, which used to be known as the Veterans Committee, met here at the winter meetings today and voted on the 10 candidates for this year's induction class. The results: Harold Baines and Lee Smith have been elected. They're Cooperstown-bound. Candidates need a 12 of 16 possible votes from the Today's Game Committee. Smith reportedly got 16 out of 16. Baines received 12 out of 16. Lupiniya, also on the ballot, fell one short at 11. No one else got as many as 5 votes. Baines played for 22 seasons, amassed 2,866 hits and made the All-Star game 6 times. He was a fantastically consistent hitter, posting an OPS plus of 108 or greater every single season between the ages of 22 and 40. He was also a durable player, not missing a whole heck of a lot of time to either injury or ineffectiveness until his late 30s. Even then he managed to hang around until he was 42 years old. In the early part of his career, with the Chicago White Sox, he was the star of the team and the face of the organization. Smith was one of the first of the single-inning closers, setting the standard for what we now think of as the best relievers in the game. He was big and intimidating. He threw hard. And when it was all said and done, he held the all-time record for saves with 478 upon his 1998 retirement. He's now third behind Mariano Rivera and Trevor Hoffman in that category. He led the league in saves 4 times and led the league in games finished 3 times. He had 6 seasons in which he averaged more than 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, which was a much greater feat in his day than it is today. Baines and Smith certainly have had their supporters over the years, but it's not unfair to say that their election is at least something of a surprise. For all of the pros in Baines' column as listed above, it has to be said that Baines will be one of the weaker inductees in some time. He led the league in exactly one offensive category in his long career, slugging percentage in 1984. He was rarely a top 10 finisher in the most important offensive categories. His highest finish in MVP balloting came in 1985 when he came in 9th. While Baines may have meant a lot to the White Sox in the first part of his career, there is no way one can honestly argue that he was ever the best player in the game or even one of the best 5, 6 or, usually, 10. His failure to rank highly in hitting categories is especially notable given that over 1,600 of his 2,830 career games came at DH. He was certainly not thought of as a Hall of Famer by the men and women who covered him during his day. He was on the ballot 5 times and never received more than 6.1% of the vote. He fell off the ballot in 2011 when he received 4.8%. Smith was a stronger candidate by most measures. In addition to helping transform the role of relief pitchers in the game, he did end his career as the all-time leader in the statistic that, for better or worse, defines closers. The Bull likewise thought more highly of him, leaving him on the ballot for a full 15 years, at times gaining over 50% of the vote. No matter what one may say about their cases now, however, the vote is in and each of them will be Hall of Famers come next July. Not making the cut were the other 8 nominees: Albert Bell, Joe Carter, Will Clark, Orel Hershiser, Davey Johnson, Charlie Manuel, Lupini Aya, and George Steinbrenner. The Today's Game Committee consisted of 16 voters: Roberto Alomar, Bert Blyleven, Pat Gillick, Tony La Russa, Greg Maddux, Joe Morgan, John Schuer-Hals, Ozzie Smith, Joe Torre, Ella Vila, Paul Beeston, Andy MacPhail, Jerry Reinsdorf, and media members Steve Hurt, Tim Kirkjian, and Claire Smith. Hall of Fame Weekend 2019 will be held July 19th to 22nd, with the induction ceremony on Sunday, July 21st. Inductees voted in by the Baseball Writers Association of America will be revealed on January 22, 2019. That former player and manager Mike Redmond is among those who was interviewed for the Orioles' open managerial position. Those others include Mike Bell, Pedro Grifol, Chip Hale, and Brandon Hyde. Redmond, 47, spent 13 years in the majors as a player from 1998 to 2010. He took over as manager of the Marlins in 2013 but had a short and unsuccessful stint. The team went 62-100 in his first year, 77-85 in his second, then went 16-22 to start the 2015 season before he was fired. It was hard to put too much blame on Redmond, though, considering that the Marlins have nearly perpetually been non-competitive over the last 8 years. Redmond has served as the bench coach with the Rockies for the last 2 years. Whoever becomes the Orioles' next manager will be taking over a team that went 47-115 in 2018. It was the first season in franchise history and one of the worst seasons of all time. The Orioles traded during the season to help facilitate a rebuilding process that will likely take a few years.